Hey ladies, so if this is your first time watching this small series, make sure that you watch part 1 beforehand. You can find that as the previous upload before my last upload on my channel. Okay, the second to last upload on my channel. This hair can be found on my website now. You can order it now. This video was shot several months ago. And also make sure you subscribe to my other channel, Syddin Pretty Pro, for professional content. My books in Las Vegas are opening back up, so make sure you visit my website to complete the new client assessment if you're interested in booking an appointment. If you are not already an existing client or someone I've worked with this year at all, if you are a previous client but I haven't seen you, definitely fill out the form. And yes, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down below. And thank you for your support. Unless you are someone with an underlying condition that causes your hair not to grow, hair growth is not special. It's a simple bodily function, much like salivation, much like breathing. What is special, though, is length retention. And believe it or not, length retention is a skill set, especially for women with textured hair, okay? And so this is the exact skill set that I teach you all in Growentine, my 40-day hair growth challenge and master regimen, which consists of tool and product recommendations, as well as detailed regimens to meet you at every step of your healthy hair journey, okay? Make sure you click the link. Well, you might not be able to click the link actually because YouTube disabled that. Visit www.growentine.com today to learn more. So yeah, like I remember I would nanny during that time because it honestly would give me a place to sleep at night because I would nanny for dancers. And I remember it's so crazy because one of the girls who I used to nanny for, I seen her on Instagram. And she like has a big OnlyFans account and stuff now. But yeah, I used to do it for these two girls. One girl's name was Jacinia and Alicia, and they had these two little boys. And then one had also a little baby girl. And I remember I used to think like I should do this. But yeah, I'm like, maybe I should start dancing, like, because I'm sitting here homeless, blah, blah, blah. I was like 18. And I remember just when I wanted to, they had passed some kind of ordinance, I think in Atlanta, to where you had to be 21 and up. And I'm really grateful that that happened because I couldn't imagine having to enter into that industry at 21. I mean, at even 21. I couldn't imagine having to have started dancing at 18 years old. I could not. For me, at the age I'm at now with the life experience I have, like, it's not as intimidating and scary as I thought it was going to be, but it's still not the kind of environment that I would want my 18-year-old self as. And to see, like, kind of the outlook and the mindset of a lot of women in there who started so young versus those who came kind of later, or girls who, you know, are more like me, like they just had other stuff going on and they just had to be there real quick, and versus the girls who've been there since 18, they still doing it. Like, it's just, it's not, I couldn't imagine it. I'm not finna tell nobody what they should or should not do. I couldn't imagine it, and it's not something I would recommend, but I've also never done it, so I can't really speak on it for sure from firsthand experience. But yeah, so I ended up, like I said, I was bringing in the money was coming. It's been good. And what I like about it here is it's so strict out here compared to like what I've seen in Atlanta, as far as, like I said, the club, because I came to realize that kind of was just my club that had those specific rules, as far as like you have to wear pasties, you can't, you know. So I'm not saying every single club like that out here is like this, but my club was truly like a gentleman's club. So it was just very, if you got the gift of gab, if you know how to sell, like, and you're a pretty girl, you could make big money without even dancing, for real. If you know what you're doing, and you know, and so it just worked out for me. And I ended up, you know, getting fired, which I believe was on purpose, because I had literally prayed, and I was like, this was after Super Bowl, for real. I was just like, you know, I finally got my apartment. You know, even the way that went was just an absolute blessing. Absolute blessing. And I'm going to just leave it at that. I don't care what things look like. You know, God will make a way out of no way. Period. But, you know, once I kind of got my apartment and stuff, I was just like, all right, God, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I feel like, you know, I was really led here, you know, for a reason. And I got what I wanted out of it, which was to not be homeless. And now I'm ready to focus on what I came here to do. I didn't come here to do that. It's not really, it's never been something I ever, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm ready. And literally, when I said that, I walked into the club that night and I found out my account was not only like deactivated, but they terminated my contract. And from what I've seen, they terminated a lot of Black girls' contracts and did a lot of things, a lot of changes. But I know for sure, like, I gotta change my phone this way. I don't feel like holding it that way. But you know, I'm pretty sure also the way that I kind of was like showing up in the club as I wasn't tolerating no disrespect. I don't feel like just because I happen to have found myself in this industry temporarily that I have to subject myself to being talked to, treated any certain kind of way, whatever. And especially as a Black woman, because that's kind of like the general consensus down here is, oh, we're Black women, so we need to walk on eggshells. And I'm like, no, nope. You know, I'm going to carry myself with dignity, with respect and honor, because at the end of the day, regardless of how people perceive it, I'm still a child of God first and foremost. I walked in here as a child of God. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And regardless of where I'm at right now, it don't change who I am as a person. And I don't feel like myself or anybody has to be treated any kind of way. You know, to me, you know, I'm not even going to get into it. But, yeah, I wasn't going for it. And I know I definitely stepped on a lot of toes because I wasn't going for it. Like, I wasn't going for it. And so I'm not really completely shocked. But I'm like, So, yeah, that has been a journey thus far. I'm really grateful for the experience because it really, I needed that. Like, I needed something. I was very square, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But y'all gotta understand, I've literally been doing hair since I was 12 for a living. You know, I have had retail jobs in between that, but I have been doing hair for such a long time. And so I've never gone without. Even when facing, you know, certain situations, I could always just do hair, you know, as a backup. This was the first time that I found myself in, you know, that kind of predicament. And I've talked about this before, like on my other channel, how, you know, I always felt like it was really important I always looked at the beauty industry as like a beacon of hope, and not just the beauty industry, but the trade industry, period. Because for a lot of people who end up in situations like that, maybe your family don't come from much, you know, it could be a bazillion things. The trade industry, period, is always a great industry to be in because it has a lower barrier of entry, but the skills are high-paying skills without having to go into debt and, you know, and waste so much time. And I remember when I kind of figured that out and I decided I was not going to college, I got a lot of pushback from the people around me. Certain family members who had received higher education, my teachers and things like that. But I just believe deep in my heart, like, the trade industry was where it is. And I think it's so funny now. And now everybody's getting into trades because you really can't automate many trades, for one. For two, a lot of people are starting to realize the college is a scam. You know, if you and my grandma and them generation, who they literally, like, baby boomers, college was literally the key for them. And I feel like ever since that point, if you're not in the STEM field, and even then, it's not the key. And people are realizing that. I just always be ahead of my time with stuff. So I said that to say the beauty industry has always been a safe haven for me, period. It's always been a safe haven for me. I didn't realize how much I had built for myself prior to, but before I left Atlanta, first of all, when I told you I was homeless, I still had a salon suite. I still had a booming business. Don't get it twisted. It just was, I talked about this story, but that was just a circumstantial thing. I still had money. And, you know, the point is, like, the beauty industry has always been a place for me to be able to build for myself and to be able to be independent and to thrive. And so I had said to myself years ago that I kind of wanted to bridge some kind of gap between, you know, the SW industry and the beauty industry for girls who are looking for an avenue. And I didn't really realize that I kind of was like scripting. I don't believe I'm scripting anything. I think, you know, my life plan has already been written out by my creator. But I do believe that, you know, we get kind of those downloads and, you know, those precursors to kind of show us, like, if we listen on a soul level and if we pay attention, you know, we'll kind of see our life path. And that happens to me so much. But yeah, I know, you know, at first it was kind of like shocking, like, I can't believe I'm here, but actually I can, because I had a heart for it. I was very judgmental. As many people are, of women who choose to, or they find themselves in situations where they feel like they have to subject themselves to, you know, going to the club, bottle girl, dancing, you know, gentleman's club, strip club, or, you know, full service things or online things. Like, I was very judgmental of it, but I had a privilege, and the privilege was I had a skill and I had a trade. So I couldn't really, you know, I can't really realistically speak for people, because anytime I needed something, I could just do hair. And on top of that, I've always been very gifted at it. I'm an excellent salesperson. I'm known. And I got into this industry at the timing was perfect. Like, the hair industry always had, it wasn't so saturated. Even though people thought it was, now it's like, now it's crazy. The beauty industry is definitely saturated, but you could still make a way, period. You still could make a way. Every practitioner can't service everybody. But, you know, the timing worked out. Things just worked out for me in a way where it was easy for me to judge somebody for how they chose to show up. And so being here was very humbling for me. Even being in Atlanta was very humbling for me. But because it really showed me, like, you know, some things that I might think are, I am a genius. You know, I am magnificent. I am very talented, but it's by the grace of God that I am those things, right? And I think I needed that reminder. But yeah, like, so I don't know. I didn't intend on coming here and sharing this with y'all, but I'm gonna finish showing y'all my hair probably in like a part 2. But yeah, that's kind of been a life update for me. I'm very grateful when I look at how fast my circumstances have changed in the last 2 months. Literally, I went to the club on December 18th. So literally almost going on 3 months, my life has done a 360, a complete 360. I mean, a 180. It's done a 180. I'm very grateful for the club. I'm ready to be done, and I don't want to have to come back, but I'm grateful for the experiences. I am so unapologetically Black, number one, like, believe it or not, that also kind of like did that for me. Being a black dancer in Vegas, I'm so unapologetic about, I'm just a different, like, it just really refined me and also completely changed my circumstances. And I'm very grateful for the grace of God and also protection, because even though I feel like it's like being in a place with a bunch of immature high schoolers, is very like high school and politics and popularity, and at the same time you do have a lot of snakes in there, and it can be very dangerous if you allow it to be, you know, if you are naive, whatever. So I'm just grateful, period. So my first recording was days ago, and I decided that I wanted to still like finish the story and just make it a whole story time. So, because literally since that video, I think I went back to the club a few days ago and I was just fed the freak up. I didn't make any money. I left negative. And I was just irritated. Like, I'm like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I feel like I've got what I wanted to get out of it and I'm done. So let me tell you, I cannot think, I had to have been at the club for like several weeks, maybe even a month, when and this was at the previous place I worked. I've only worked at 2 clubs. I work at like the best clubs here. Top clubs, hard to get into. I put the emphasis because it is true, like especially my other club, they were very selective. It was definitely way more of a classy upscale club. But this club I'm at now, I feel like they want to act like they are. But this is no disrespect. I know some of y'all might be offended about this, the girls. But the way they be trying to act all selective and stuff, and then when you see the girls they got in there, it's like, my other club, actually, the girls was fine. Here it's just like, they just want to play games with people. Because no, ma'am. You telling me I'm hearing my people. I'm hearing my people, but I'm not seeing my people. Okay. So anyway, just politics, club politics. What the hell? So I in the club. And at this point, I've been there for several weeks, and I know it because the way this was a former client of mine, the way she like ran up on me and caught me, I was like so in the zone, relaxed, talking to other girls, and then she ran up on me. So I know I had to have been there for a while, the way I was like mingling and canoodling. Out of nowhere, I literally hear somebody walks up and says, "Sydney," and she says my full name. And I'm like, I look and I'm like, and I literally run away. Like, ah! I was like, what? I'm not going to say what are the odds, but that was so funny to me, y'all. Here I am at my little current side hustle that, you know, when I first started, I'm like, yeah, I want this to be an in and out. I don't want to tell anybody. But I don't know. Then I stopped really caring. It's not like I told the whole world, but I have a little personal Instagram account where I know everybody on there. There's like not that many followers. And, you know, I would go in there and do my rants. Like if something happened and, you know, at the club and I was annoyed, I would go in there and talk about it. And so, yeah, I look and it's her and I like run away. I'm like, oh my God. Like I literally ran away like I was on Mari or something. Like how they go, ah. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Now, so the backstory on this client is I first started doing her hair when we were both like 20, right? And at the time, like my sew-ins was a good price. I probably was charging like $250 for a sew-in. So I was making good money for sure. And I remember, you know, she used to always be fly, y'all. Like when I tell y'all she used to always be fly, I mean, Gucci shoes, Gucci belt, Gucci, everything Gucci, Gucci purse, Gucci down, like literally. And I remember asking her, like, girl, like, you be fly, like, where do you get all this stuff? And she would tell me, like, oh, like, I'm a sugar baby, period. This was years ago, right? At this point, we're both like, this is literally like 6 years later. But she would tell me, like, yeah, I have an older guy, blah, 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 blah. So so for her to see me here, you know, it was really shocking. Literally, she says to me, she's like, I always thought you were so sophisticated. And I'm like, I am. I don't care what's going on. Even the way I carry myself in here, the way I choose my outfits, everything, like, I'm still sophisticated. I'm still her. This hair needed to be washed so bad. That is so crazy. So yeah, you know, that was just very crazy. Like, seeing her in there, you know, it was just crazy. I wasn't expecting that. And yeah, she was like, yeah, I always thought you were so sophisticated, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know, I still am. This is just like, you know, one thing that I would always say, and I would tell this to like some of the customers too, like if people would just say something, I'd be like, I'm not a dancer, I'm dancing, period. There's a difference. I'm not a stripper, I'm stripping, period. This is something temporary for me. I have an entire life outside of here. I have built an entire business for myself. I have skills outside of here. I have more to myself than this. And this is not to put down the other girls, but it's like, I didn't really go with the whole, oh, create a new identity for yourself in here. Like, you're not yourself in here. I never did all that. I didn't even really compartmentalize myself. I just focused on my goal and kept it pushing. But, you know, it's just like, this is not a career for me. This is not who I am. I don't have friends in here. You know, I'm not bridging a gap between the outside and the inside. Like, this is where I'm at right now. So I'm very much still her. So I just thought that was so crazy. Like, and you know, I kind of seen her a few times in there after that, and we kind of would talk, but we never really, you know, it was never anything too much. But that was just crazy to me. It was interesting. And so, all in all, I had said several years ago, and I think, you know, I'm picking up this recording days later, so I don't know if I already mentioned this, but I had said years ago that I really wanted to bridge the gap between the trade industry, specifically when it comes to beauty, and the club, because going in there and just kind of seeing how, you know, they call it a trap for a reason. It's like one of my friends was telling me, like, yeah, that's why they call it the trap. Whether it comes to girls who, you know, work in casinos, girls who work outside on the blade, girls who are in clubs, girls who even are just bartenders and bottle girls, whatever. Especially in cities like Vegas, where it's not abnormal to see cocktail waitresses who are like 70 or 60 or 50 or literally in the club. We had ladies in there who was like 50, literally. There was a black lady in there who was like 50. Y'all probably gonna see her in one of my videos. She just wanted to interrupt my video so bad, and I'm not gonna not post it because she saw me taking a video of myself and wanted to be in it so badly. But you know, there are literally women in the club who are like 50, still dancing. You know, it's not abnormal. And it's like, you know, I just think for a lot of people, it's a very hard thing to exit out of because you're making such good money, but you haven't taken the time to build anything outside. And it's hard to transition your lifestyle because in order for you to transition to something else, you probably have to lose everything because you haven't taken the time to build a skill set or get educated in something that's going to allow you to just transfer. Like me, I could leave there and I could literally make the same amount of money doing hair the next week. Literally. It might not come as fast, it might not come as easily, but my earning potential is the same, if not greater, in the beauty industry. And the difference between myself and someone who would probably watch this video or later get involved in some of the things that I want to start offering. I hate my eyebrows, y'all. Like, the way this girl did my eyebrows for the $130 I spent, like, girl, you wrong. And these are things we're gonna talk about on my other channel. But I always know, I'm like, is my hair sinking? The difference between me and somebody who else is in there who would decide, okay, I want to become a hairstylist, blah, blah. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been building for 10 years. That person would have to leave, or start going to school while they're there. Then you got to actually build your skills, refine your skills. Like, it would take time. Even if they did quit and start building something else, you're not going to just go from graduating beauty school to making $5,000 in a week like you could dancing. And so I think that's why they get trapped in there, because it's a fear of like, well, if I leave, what else do I have? And it's a fear of like, well, I don't want to stop living this lifestyle. I don't want to stop driving this car. I don't want to stop partying. I don't want to stop this. I don't want to stop that. And so then I just could guesstimate, and from what I've observed being in there, that's where you end up with these dancers who in their 50s, or if they're not that old, they might as well be in dancer years because they've been doing it 10, 15, 16, 20 years. To me, more than 2 years is crazy. And that's not to be disrespectful or to judge, but when you start having these conversations with girls, you hear girls who've been doing it 3, 4, 7 years say what I'm saying about the ones doing it 20. And it's like, to me, anything past, I can't even see it a year, but I'll say 2 years. If you hustling right and you have a vision, that's more than enough time to get out. It just simply is, in my opinion. But, and when I say this is not to be disrespectful. I think that takes a certain level of intelligence, a certain level of wisdom, a certain level of discipline. And that's why I said, for me personally, I can't see an 18-year-old being capable of handling something like that. I just can't. Not in the way that they should, in a way where it could, people do it and people have done it. Like, how many celebrities, how many people do we know who came from that industry? So yeah, y'all, I just thought that was so funny, so interesting, ironic, like, of all people. I mean, I guess when I think about it, it's not, given the context, but it's still like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, to me, that's a reminder, like, okay, I'm not supposed to be here long term. Remember what I'm here for. I'm being recognized in here. And it's not from boys. It's not from even family members. It's from people from my business. People who, relationships I built, hard work, through blood, sweat, and tears. So remember what I'm here for. Remember what my objective is, And so, yeah, I think for me personally, y'all, it's a wrap. I just don't think I could do it anymore. Because, like I said, I achieved what I went in for, number one. And number two, there are so many things that come with it that I'm just like over. And I don't even mean in terms of the things y'all probably would think. When I say that, people probably think like, oh, you're degrading yourself and blah, blah, blah. No, that's not true. Because if you're choosing the right place to work at, but yeah, like, no, that's not true. Because if you're working at a place that gives you agency, hold on. If you're working at a place that gives you the ability to conduct yourself as an independent contractor, which means you are sorry, I have to make sure I got this right. 3, 1, 2. Had to post something to my Patreon. Yeah, but if you are being allowed to operate as the independent contractor that you are, and you can move the way that you do, meaning, like I said, the club that I originally started at, you could literally never. The only type of control that club tries to put on you is to make sure you ain't doing too much. So if you never wanted to go beyond a little catsuit with a bikini underneath, same stuff y'all wear on Instagram, you could do that there. You know what I'm saying? That I understand that's not every club and that's not every place, but that's why you have to choose somewhere that's in alignment with your boundaries. So when I say things that, I'm tired of dealing with, I'm more so mean you have other elements of, like I told y'all in the beginning of the video, people trying to kick you out of sections, girls trying to take your clients. Again, my first club, they allowed smoking. I don't like the smell of smoke. I would be getting sick a lot in there. Or, just more so things when it comes to management and the political aspect of the club. I think some of those more other elements, the stereotypical elements, I think those are things that more so come when you don't really know yourself and or you're not a spiritual person, and you go into these places without like a supernatural spiritual covering. So it's not to say that stuff don't happen. It's just, yeah. So, y'all know I rarely share things with y'all about stuff like that, but I will if I feel like it's something that y'all can benefit from or somebody can benefit from. And I know that was not just like a random experience for me. That was something that, like I said, while I consciously would have never saw me doing it, subconsciously, I'm not shocked because I always had, like, even though I was very judgmental and like a prude, I still kind of had a desire to create solutions for women who are in situations like that. To financially empower women, to empower women in other ways, to, so they have options. What does that sound? And even if, you do find yourself in environments like that, you got different types of girls in there. I say the majority of the girls are weak. Or a lot of women are weak, they kind of allow the men to run the show. And I feel like you have other women who, this is my shit. So even just that, having the confidence in the knowledge of self and the self-assuredness to, especially when in environments like that, you do it how you want to do it. Because it's you at the end of the day. And you can show up how you want to show up. I don't care if that's dealing with the client base or the management. This is your shit. Excuse my language. A lot of the times, and these are things I'll talk about in another video, there's a certain attitude that's so prevalent in these spaces where it got the dancers feeling like, they need to be at the mercy of the staff. And it's like, hold up. Y'all wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for us. So a lot of the girls, because they feel like they don't have nothing for themselves, I think they allow a lot. And in my opinion, it just shouldn't be. But I'm not really there to change that industry. That's not my industry. I am, though, wanting to create avenues to where, people have a way out. And not just that, but I recently booked a girl to do my nails. She reminded me kind of myself. She was a 20-year-old girl. She had her own salon suite, nail tech. And, I told her I was a hairstylist or whatever. And for some reason, I kind of let her know that, I had this nighttime gig right now. And she's like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to go so bad as soon as I turn 21. She's a Latina girl. And I'm just like, I told her straight up. I asked her, how much money are you making? And she's like, oh, well, I'm making like $4,000 a month. You're exactly where you need to be at 20 years old. That's exactly, I'm not gonna lie to you, I probably was doing a little more than that. But I'm in a different sector of the industry, and I have been doing it longer. At 20 years old, I have been doing hair since I was 12 at that point, literally. Excuse me. Yeah, like 12, 14. So it was different. My experience was different, But the point is, at 20 years old, making that, you're exactly where you need to be. But we live in a generation of when I was young doing my thing, y'all, it was not normal. People were so impressed with me, they couldn't believe it. Fast forward to, especially since the pandemic and a little bit before the pandemic, we had this whole boss culture. It started to be a thing everybody went from going to college to now everybody want to be an entrepreneur out of nowhere. Now it's popular to be an entrepreneur. And we saw the whole multi-level marketing thing, Forex, all that. And then when the pandemic hit, now everybody wants to be a pandemicpreneur. And I feel as though it's put like this very unrealistic pressure on the youth. I used to put that pressure on myself because I put that pressure on myself. And people would tell me, oh, calm down. Now it's become like a cultural thing. And like I told her, you're exactly where you need to be. You have no need. You still live at home. You don't have to pay, your own rent somewhere else. You're not facing homelessness. You have no reason. I said, what you should do, and if you're watching this and you're a young beauty pro or somebody the same way, why don't you let me consult your business? I can show you how to get from $4,000 a month to 10, still doing your nails. And I've actually been able to do this with my own business and help other people do it. How about you try that first? And then if that don't work, which I doubt it, if I know for a fact that's not going to happen, but hypothetically speaking, if it was not to work, then you consider, going and trying that. But that's not where you need to be. She telling me, oh, well, my friend does it and she this and she that. First of all, I didn't tell her this, but I don't really know if the girl's your friend. Have you ever thought to think that she might be jealous of you because y'all are the same age and she out here, not only in the club, but she has folks. You know what I'm saying? She has folks. She has somebody she has to answer to. So, have you ever thought to think that maybe she envies your situation and she wants to pull you down? Don't ever let them put that type of pressure on you. That's not the place you need to be. Even though I feel like it wasn't that deep for me, it's because I'm a child of God and I'm protected. But that's just not really a place, because I told her, I guarantee you, and I know people could be listening to this like, why would you? And at the end of that, I told her, you do what you want to do. But in my opinion, I said, watch. You cannot serve two masters. It's going to be, when it comes to that, it's one or the other. It's one or the other. Because something's going to suffer. Something's going to suffer. Either you're not going to be able to give the club enough time to really see how to work it and how the money come in, or you're going to be giving the club so much time that now your nail business suffers. That's not, I don't care what it looks like online, that's not what it is. You've been doing this 2 years. How about I show you? I understand beauty schools don't show you, they don't really set you up for success. It's kind of a learning thing. It's a learning curve. It's something you got to figure out yourself. How about you just invest in the information to learn how you can take what you're doing and multiply it? How you can set yourself up to be able to manage more customers, manage more money, manage a larger space, manage training other people, manage adding product sales. So many different things you could do to fill that $4,000 to $10,000 gap. Within the end of this year, it might not happen in a month, but the same skill set that I possessed that allowed me to go into them clubs and in 3 months, right away, make 10, 12 a month. The same way that I was able to just, as a newbie, start doing that, these are the same sales skills and management skills that I learned from doing this in my beauty business. I just applied it to the spicy gymnasium. So either way, you might not be able to get the salon popping in a month, but by the end of this year, you'll meet 6 figures. But what I'm trying to get y'all to see is, unless you're one of these girls who you don't have no business really being full service and doing the most, it takes a special set of skills to be able to clear a certain kind of money in a slow season in a place like Vegas, where you're literally working sometimes with 300 girls a night and only like 100 customers, if that, maybe 50 customers. And out of those, how many gonna spend money? And how many gonna spend the type of money you need? It takes a special skill set to be able to do that without having to do too much. But that same skill that I possess that allowed me to do that is the same skill that taught me how to take my hair business from 4 to 10 a month. So just because I'm telling you that's what I was able to do, that don't mean you're going to go there and do that. Because if you don't have the skills, who's to say you can go to, it's not easy money how people think. Maybe it was 10, 12 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. So why don't you just put in that extra time? And so that's my goal with Syddin Pretty Pro, is to not only just help aspiring and existing beauty pros, grow them profits, grow them pockets, and fall back in love with what they do, but also help lead up the new generation of beauty pros, not just in the technical aspect, but the management aspect as well, because that is something that is really lacking from our industry. So that is where I've been, y'all. That is what I've been up to. I'm looking forward to getting back to my, I don't even want to say getting back, because I never fell off. I never stopped. I just had to go and acquire a new set of experiences so I could better communicate with the audience that I'll be communicating with moving forward. Because, I'm in a point where I'm beyond just taking my clients in the salon level, but but also just in a different part of this industry, if you get what I'm saying. And yeah, I just thought that was interesting, something to share with y'all. So if y'all want to hear more stories about my time in that industry, my very short time, thank God, maybe I'll share more about it. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what channel I would, kind of put that on. But I may just put that on Syddin Pretty Pro. I'm not really sure. Because that'll at least lead people to my other content. I'll just have to kind of see. But yeah, y'all let me know what you think. I'm going to come back and show y'all the end result of my hair, though, in a minute. All right, y'all. So I just finished curling my hair. Girl did a terrible job on my eyebrows. Ugh. Okay, so I'm just gonna put on some edge control. I'll let my hair cool a little bit, and then I'll show y'all the final look. And these extensions will be available again soon on the website. However, if you want to book an appointment and have the hair, you can. The install and bundle deals are available now. So there's no wait for that. However, as for the shipping and all of that of the hair, I gotta work some stuff out as far as my processes first, so I can make sure y'all getting y'all orders on time, y'all getting them how they need to show up, etc.